Cool. So, this is so Dario Medalliah is going to be playing the newest villain on the block, which is the Seeker of Earth IMS Enlightenment deck. So, what does this deck do? This deck wins by Enlightenment. And so, what is Enlightenment? Enlightenment's a new card that came out in Clan War set that everybody sort of thought was a meme. It's an old win condition from the previous game. Which said whenever you get all 5 rings, you win the game. And so Enlightenment, this one says it's cost 5 fate, it's an event, and it says if you have all 5 rings in your claimed ring pool, you activate all of them, and then you win the game. So, the goal of this deck is to amass a bunch of holdings, namely your secluded shrines, which give you which say that you're considered to have a ring in your claim ring pool. You amass a whole bunch of them. You play cards like Wholeness of the World to keep rings over the course of multiple turns. Second Secluded Shrine has not come out now. You also play Display of Power, so when your opponent attacks a ring, then you just take it from them instead. And that's basically it. So a lot of your conflict side is going to be cards that protect your secluded shrines or search for secluded shrines, right? So you have like your rebuild, you have your Foe Does Not Wait, which is a new crab card, which lets you search for stuff and put it into your provinces. Nightly G saying, do we have to watch this one? Look, I want to show the American audience what this deck is capable of, so that way we can, our side of the world can judge accordingly and figure out what we want to do with it. And hopefully, other people are watching this whose opinions matter more, to where they can see the terror that can possibly be wreaked by this potential deck. Yes, you can either see that happen, or you can see Dario misplay and lose. So I don't know how familiar Tanchozuru is with this kind of deck. Of course, right now he's just going to get his character bowed because of the Solemn Scholar having the Earth Ring. But a new name comes out on the Yoshi, and I don't know what he can do to restand himself here. I think he's just playing cards. This could be a turn 2 Enlightened depending on his hand. Yes, for sure. Oh, Fan of Command. Okay, this is interesting. So Fan of Command coming out on Yoshi is going to allow him to restand and break the City of the Rich Frog. This I will say I was not expecting. And so that's actually going to let him score a Dishonor here on the Solemn Scholar. Solemn Scholar already used the course, so City of the Rich Frog going to break here. That's going to be one secluded shrine that's going to die in the process. So we will see the Solemn Scholar dishonored. Everything's going to get pitched from the City of the Rich Frog. And Earthring hits Enlightenment. So Medalliah's going to go ahead and pass here. Just going to wait and see. He could actually attack, but I think it's better just to go ahead and hold on to the favor. That way you guarantee that you have protection from censure from whenever you're ready to play your Enlightenments. What Medalliah has not done yet is use the Bustling Academy. Although I guess right now he doesn't really have good targets. Thank you for the follow, Danny Diablo04. Yeah, right now Darren in the chat talking about how he had a migraine and therefore he could not play Enlightenment or Scorpion because it required too much brain power and his head hurt. So Double Secluded Shrine comes out now for Medalliah. He will still need to get the other one online, most likely, before he can actually go ahead and hit that Enlightenment. And so Crane actually does have some play against this, since they have Voice of Honor to be able to cancel some of these effects. If you can strip the Censures or somehow get the favor from your Phoenix opponent, then it's pretty good. Double 5-bit here. We have the Dazzling Duelist and a Brash Samurai coming out. 4 Tanchozuru. What is this thing? That's the rally holding? Alright, here comes Oracle of Stone. So we're going to start digging for some stuff here. Probably going to look for Photos Not Wait. Probably going to look for Rebuild. Get that last Secluded Shrine back if possible. Student of the Tower with 2 Fate is a waste. The Void Province is already dead. Okay, yeah, so I guess the Void Province for this deck is going to be City of the Rich Frog. No Korimori. No, I guess you don't. I mean, you don't really need it. It's not about. I think like your other provinces are Public Forum, Sanpuku Seda, and something else under here. Something really obnoxious, as far as I'm aware. Alright, so here's Waning Hostilities. That's going to slow the game down some. Voice is on for Tanchozuru if he wants to go ahead and voice that, but he's not going to. He's on Magistrate Station as his restricted list card. So this Yoshi's going to get some multiple attacks going on here. Alright, here's the Arfo Does Not Wait. I don't know what he would be looking for now that the Secluded Shrine is dead. Okay, he's going to go for the Lighthouse instead. Is Enlightenment? Yes, this is Enlightenment. Nice. You want to see this? I mean, you people are degenerate. Alright, so now 2 lighthouses are now available. So this is a lot of province strength, which tells me this is probably either going to be Sanpuku Seda or it's going to be Public Forum, right? I forget. I don't know which one specifically you put this your province strength stuff on. But I know this deck runs like Mwakabe, just for the boost to province strength, so your opponent can't break. Danny Diablo saying, "I like to see the world burn." that's fair. And yeah, this deck was originally made by Daigotsu Kaiko, Daniel Correas, and he said that he is sorry that he found it, but he's also glad that he found it because he wants to show the world that it's not a pleasant experience to play against, for sure. All right, so here's Upholding Authority. Medalliah is going to go ahead and pass here. So Tanchozuru is going to be up to 2 breaks. Not much has transpired thus far. Medalliah could go ahead and I guess he could bow here, but that would be kind of pointless because of the fact that the Phantom Command is there, and the Magistrate Station also there. So display of power now. Going to go ahead and take this ring. Let's see if Tanchozuru is going to voice this. Which ring is this? This is the fire ring. So what rings were claimed earlier with the secluded shrine? So earth and air. Display of power looks like it's going to go ahead and resolve here. And we're going to go ahead and probably dishonor Yoshi. Noble sacrifices. Okay. So this is interesting. So Phantom commands with noble sacrifices and take-up commands. Taking the voice seems smart here. We could see Yoshi kill himself to kill one of these 2 1-drops that are going to die at the end of the turn. That would be some next level stuff. Alright, so we see Magistrate Station now. Here's an Oracle of Stone. So, chat, I guess clarify for me, if a secluded shrine is broken, are you still considered to have that ring in your claimed ring pool? Alright, so resounding yes from the chat. Okay, cool. So right now, I guess Dario is at 3 rings. He discards Enlightenment and Appeal to Sympathy. He's not going to have enough rings here to win the game. I don't know. It doesn't seem like Dario is in a great position here, especially because you know, he has 2 provinces broken now, and 2 shrines are dead. Like, it seems very likely to me that Tanchozuru can just go ahead and attack in with the rest of his dudes and just break the rest of these provinces. So, what are the last 2 provinces here? It's Public Forum and Senpuku Seda. So this is not breaking. Or, I mean, I take that back, actually. I mean, he could buy Hotaru and attack in here. And since the student of the Tao is bowed, it's actually pretty reasonable for him to go ahead and break this. Blue Key saying, I have not seen this deck in action yet. Is it semi-consistent? Yes, it seems to be very consistent, and it did very well today in the European side. I also have not played against you yet, but from all accounts I've heard, even if it's not super duper consistent, it's still miserable to play against because of the fact that your opponent doesn't do anything, and you get punished for being proactive about stuff because of stuff like display of power and wholeness of the world. So Dario on 2 rings here with the secluded shrine. If Medalliah has played Wholeness of the World at the end of turn 2, it is probably game already. So it plays like Crab. No, not quite, right? Because Crab still has to do things. You can still interact with Crab, but this deck sort of denies you key aspects of interaction. Alright, here's a rebuild. Here's the second rebuild. Alright, so that means 4 rings available now for Medalliah. So Tanchozuru cannot attack here, because any attack will just get display powered, most likely. Oh, here's another world. Okay, so he returns. Okay, never mind. Okay, I think he just died. So know the world with wholeness of the world gets him the last ring. Secluded Shrine for water, Secluded Shrine for void, and Secluded Shrine for earth. And now we play Enlightenment, protected with censure. We already saw one voice discarded. And yeah, so Enlightenment's going to resolve here. And that's it. Oh my god. All right, and so there you have it. So, yeah, so basically, you just need to get the combo in your hand, and then as long as you can protect, get your all your rebuilds off and your secluded shrines, whatever, then you just combo off with Know the World and use Wholeness of the World to keep that the ring in your hand or in your claim pool. Then you play Enlightenment and you win. So that's it. Alright, so with that game over, let's go ahead and hop over to another game. So I'm glad you guys got to see that. Glad everybody got to see that, honestly. It's not the best thing in the world for the game, I don't think, because of the fact that it's just not super duper interactive, right? Like, you just die. And really, your opponent didn't do anything. You tried to be proactive, and it looked pretty good for Tanchozuru because he had a pretty solid board built up, but all of it didn't matter because you can just combo out with that and then win. Yeah. So I know that people are already on alert right now about it. It did very well at this morning or earlier today in the EU. And hopefully it does get addressed, right? It's very, very akin to how Mado was, but I feel like Mado was less consistent than this, to where, Mado was very reliant on you being able to get your opponent to one province, and that was kind of bad because it was an RNG type thing, right? If you attack the wrong thing at the wrong time, then you lose the game because your opponent will be able to just punch you over to Mado later on when they can actually defend it, and then you die. For this kind of deck, there's no real safe haven, right? So there's no it's not like, okay, this is all contingent on one province. If I break this province, then I must win the game. It's more just like, can I stop my opponent from drawing the combo, or can I kill my opponent before they draw the combo? And the answer, more often than not, is going to be no. That's sort of the issue, right? Is that there are so many random draw mechanics and random dynasty filtering mechanics, and with Rally and City of the Rich Frog and some of the other cards that have come out recently, there's a lot of ways to just dig through your deck and find the key pieces of the puzzle that you need. So your only real hope is to hope that your opponent just doesn't find the pieces that they need, but it doesn't seem all that difficult. I have a ping. Study the natural world. Okay, so hang on one second. Sorry, we're dealing with a quick rules issue. Is Tomoya in here? In the chat? Okay. We're currently having someone ask about whatchamacallit? What's the study of the natural world? And about the ruling clarification. Can you point me to the ruling clarification where it says that you can it's not like display of power where it replaces the ring effect, but you resolve it first and then you do the ring effect? Someone posted Tyler's response in general yesterday. If you guys can link me to that, or point it out to me specifically, that would be great. Just like screenshot or something is fine too. I'm trying to pull it up. Let me see if this works. Okay, yeah. So as Tomoya is explaining in the chat, basically, the card says when you win the conflict, you may resolve each element of the ring, which is worded slightly different than Kaede. So, like when you're looking at Kaede, Kaede says instead of doing it, you do this instead. So Kaede is making a replacement effect, but this is just saying do it. So you're not replacing anything with this; you're just doing the action. So that's the distinction between study of the natural world and Kaede. Right now, it's currently not coded on Jigoku because previously we had assumed that it was more like what Kaede was, but that is not the case. So. Alright, so meanwhile, back to this game. Looks like Mosey's down to 2 honor, and Zarzekit's up at 8. But Mosey is on box with the Butcher. Kuanon actually would be able to block the Butcher should we get to that point. Just a political conflict left for Mosey, but he doesn't have anybody to participate. He could potentially have a common cause, and he could sacrifice like Kikuyu or something, but that doesn't seem great. Considering he's only at 2 honor. Medalliah is saying you can take some time to listen to what I said about Enlightenment. Yeah, I mean, look, Enlightenment is wacky. I like the concept of the card existing. I don't think that it should be as consistent as cards. There's a difference between, in my mind, cards that are very flavorful and cards that are fun. So I think that they should always be kind of distinct, right? And like, if a card has like an alternate win condition on it, then it's very difficult to make it consistent, even though you might want to, because that creates a very negative playing experience for the people playing, because now they have to account for this completely different win condition that is outside of how you normally play the game. And that's some of the issue that people have with playing with honor or playing against dishonored type decks, where it's just hard to it's hard to make your deck consistent against all of these things, all these different types of decks, especially when some of them attack the game from such a different angle than ordinary. So that's really the trouble with alternate win conditions, and especially in a game that has no sideboard, where you just play best of one, right? It's very easy to just get blindsided by someone playing a deck like Enlightenment, and okay, well, I didn't have a counter for it because I wasn't expecting to run into it, type thing, or I just can't adjust my deck enough to where I can cover this matchup as well as every other matchup that exists in the game. Yes, Dark Black, you're asking about what was Tyler's response to to Enlightenment. I don't know if he's actually been alerted to Enlightenment yet. I've heard that he was amused, but I don't know if that's a real anecdotal thing or not. So hopefully, I mean, look, Tyler has responded pretty positively to really negative play experience decks before. So for example, Mado got the axe pretty quickly, although it's kind of actually still in existence right now. People just aren't playing it. So Mado definitely was one of the ones that got cut pretty quickly. The Daisho deck, once it reached critical mass, also got the axe pretty quickly. So I have to imagine that Enlightenment will see something happen to it in the near future. But I think until we get the next restrict list update, that it's just going to sort of exist for the time being. Tyler also keeps printing MPE cards. Look, so one thing to note about that is, like, yes, some of this stuff is happening on accident, and it does keep happening. But we also have to remember that release cycles are a bit behind where current card design is, right? So, like, it's possible that these cards that are being developed right now are MPE because I guess Tyler's still trying to get at the time that these were developed, we're still trying to get our bearings as far as what what's a good card, what's not a good card. So I don't want to. I'm always hesitant to blame people for things, or blame, or just say that somebody's doing something intentionally bad, right? And usually there's an explanation for what's happening. Yeah, and so that's another thing about the deck, right? Is that you can also afford to just sit there and wait and just win through dishonor or just stalling, right? So it has the tools. The deck is built for you to stall as long as possible until you have your combo. So you can also apply that to other aspects of the game, like dishonor through milling or dishonor through other stuff, but. Medalliah is saying, every game has things that become degenerate or uninteractive. It's not an L5R thing. Yeah, no, for sure. I don't blame Tyler at all because there's only so much he and PT can see. It's how he responds to things that are telling. And yeah, he definitely is very quick to respond to things that are problematic. Sometimes there are some things that kind of get left alone, but I do think that whenever things have become problematic, he has tended to. I would say he has a better track record of responding well to things than responding poorly to things. All right, so yeah. So in this situation right now, Mosey is not in the best of positions. So he. One thing that Zarzakid has done is successfully defended his stronghold, and he's been able to kill off both of the butchers actually are not dead, which is good. But problematic for Zarzakid here is that I don't know if he's actually going to be able to break the box, and in the process of keeping himself alive, he's also kept Mosey alive by bidding 5 and giving him a bunch of honor to work with. So Satori now going to come in, is going to be at an 8. This is Kuni Wasteland, so he can't use any abilities here. Mosey down to 3 cards. He passes though. Because he was not... Okay. Alright, so the Bonsai here was enough for Satori to go ahead and break. And so that'll be it for that game. So I think right now we only have a couple games left in this round. Looks like Shrumon and Makoto T1 is the last one. So let's go ahead and hop in this game and see what's going on at the end of it. Looks like we have an attack here. Add Shameful Display. No defense. I guess with 2 Spirit Collars you don't need to defend here, so that's fine. Meanwhile, Makoto T1 still only on 2 breaks rather. Alright, so here's a prepared ambush coming out on the Shameful Display that's going to allow them to buy this Master Tactician into the conflicts. Surumon's going to go ahead and pass. We're going to see a Bonsai here. Put the Master Tactician ahead. Oh no, sorry, that's Surumon going ahead. We have not seen Shameful Display used yet, so we can see that activated here. So yeah, we're going to dishonor the Vanguard Warrior. That's the most skill swing here, so it's going to be 4. Spirit Caller options are awful right now. He has Agatoki and Mia Mystic, which he can't call the Agatoki. And his conflict side, I mean, he does have political rival, so you could call in a rival for this this last attack if you really felt like it. Alright, Policy Debate's going to discard away the crab here, and we're going to go ahead and blank this Master Tactician. I feel like if you were going to do that, you probably should have done it a little bit earlier. especially if you're trying to win this conflict, right? But I don't think that Smurman actually has enough gas to do anything more here. There's still have a political conflict left. Actually, kind of surprised that both butchers got bowed here. I don't know what happened exactly. And we'll see the disguise over the Master Tactician. That's going to allow 2-1 to go ahead and attack. Covert past one of these two dudes, probably this Keeper Initiate. Alright, so we're actually not going to get a the Zentaro coming in too. It's just going to be the political rival, which I wonder is actually kind of a mistake. I think you just go ahead and send both in here, so that way you have the extra skill, and now you don't have to use your Spirit Caller on the other political rival. Oh yeah, he can't call the Master Tactician now. That's right, because it died. So that also works too. Alright, so this should be enough to break here, yeah. So we're going to see a pass from Sherman. And that'll be a break on the fertile fields. Yeah, I mean, look, I think there was definitely the option for him to just go ahead and call the political rival and put it back in his deck. That seems fine, honestly. I think that might have been better. It still would have been enough strength to break the fertile fields. You would have been at 6 to 1. And that way you still have your Master Tactician for next turn. Alright, here comes Tessin on the Student of Anatomy. Still a political conflict left, and that's going to be 4 political skill going into Shameful Display here, which has already been used. And I think that Sherman can probably win this Void Ring here. Although now we can go ahead and see that the Spirit Caller call the political rival in for this defense. And so, sort of, I guess, maybe preemptive use of the Student of Anatomies by Sherman. So he used it earlier to blank a Master Tactician that got binned by the Zentaro. When I guess he could have been using it now to go ahead and blink the Spirit Caller and prevent this political raffle from coming back in. So yeah, so Shurimon's just gonna get the card draw from the Yasuki off of that. Come on, for me. Alright, so now 2 Butchers remain, and this is actually semi-decent for Shurumon. He's not in a terrible position here, since he can use the 2 Butchers, cover past the... oh no, actually no, you can't cover past anything right now, because Zentaro can block, and Spirit Caller can go ahead and call Taturian. So he's going to have a lot of sauce. And yeah, so here's a Way of the Crab. Go ahead and kill one of these things. So Zentaro's going to be the one to die. Yeah, a Coda T1. Maybe should have considered buying a... Oh, I think he passed on accident there. I think he wanted to buy something. He probably wanted to buy the Zentaro. Oh no, never mind. He's just he's just saying, he's just lamenting that a student of anatomies popped up here. Alright, Superman drops a 4-bit here. Not 100% sure why. Doesn't seem like a situation where, you know, honor is really going to be relevant here. T1 doesn't really have very many more honorable effects, so... He needs to draw a Let Go badly. Probably, yes. Here's a Tattooed Wanderer. Okay, so that gets him past the LPB. He blanked the Spirit Caller already, too, so... There's another Master Tactician Zentaro combo, sure, but he also needs to have enough skill to... win the conflict, too. Alright, so here's the Master Tactician. We're going to go ahead and bonsai on the Butcher. Here's Shameful Display. Get that Force Swing. Wait, the Lion on Master Tactician. Let's see if Sherman has a Defender on her. I think now's the time to do it if you're going to do it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, Censure for Defender on her. Another one. I think if you have it, you got to do it now. Yeah, not a single Way of the Lion played yet until this one, so... I mean, it's definitely not a somehow thing, right? I think Way of the Lion is one of those cards that you want to be saving for either your Stronghold defense or your Stronghold attack. Alright, so you see the second Defender on her here. This will keep the Master Tactician in check. So defend your honor 1, defend your honor 2. And Watch Commander now on the Student of Anatomies as well. Maybe you should have considered putting it on a different character, but I guess the Student of Anatomies can go into multiple conflicts, so seems fine. Here's Tactical Ingenuity coming out on the Watch Command on the Master Tactician. If you got to let go, you probably get rid of that now. Although if you had to let go, you probably should have just let go of the Prepared Ambush. Alright, another Way of the Lion coming out. Someone's gonna have to pass. 4 Fate and Hand Force Rumon and 6 cards. Surely some of them must be military pumps. So let's see if T1's got enough sauce. He does not. So that's gonna be a break there, and so Shrumon's gonna go ahead and take this game. So it was definitely very close there at the end, for sure. I think if T1 could have survived that conflict, I do think that you know, maybe this could have been avoided if Shrumon had just let go of the Prepared Ambush, but you know. Regardless of the fact he still manages to pull away with the win, so Crab's going to go ahead and take this one. And I think that was our last match of this round. So we'll go ahead and move into the lunch break here.